Welcome back, everybody. We are in the garage, and as you can tell, there's something missing here because I decided to push her outside for the day to get the wrenching on her and get some stuff done. Now, we did have some fittings and stuff that I had to get. I had to order some, still waiting on some. Figured I would get some content for you guys. I'll just give you a quick update on what the hell is going on with this thing. I know it's been a while, but we pulled the front end off her, pulled the turbo off, the manifold, and so we've got the block off here for the coolant that I won't be using for the heater core. I do have to get the fitting for that down there to block that off. We are going to be pulling this thing out again so that I can go through it. I have to do the timing gear. I have to do the timing gear for the fuel tech. I have to pull all this whole side off, so I'm going to end up pulling it out to do that. All this needs to be tightened up. The intake needs to be tightened. None of this is tight. I kind of just threw it in to see, make sure I was going to be okay with everything. You know, all these lines are going to come off. I'm going to pull everything back out, make sure everything's good to go. I've got to put the fuel injectors in as well. So that's it's kind of the basic of it. So we're going to get to a time lapse, and we're going to yank this thing out of here. Alright, look at that. She is out. Cleaned up the engine bay, got everything out of it. It was actually fairly easy pulling this thing out. Although it's going to be a little more complicated, but... so, I started taking everything apart and realizing that I probably need to just nut and bolt check this thing. Make sure everything is going to be alright. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out all of the intake bolts, all of the fuel rail bolts, all of the water pump, all that. Literally every bolt's going to come off this thing that can come off. Just to replace it with, we're going to put some Loctite on everything. Some blue Loctite on everything. That way I don't have issues. I'm going to do all these and everything else for this. Filler neck, we're going to do the motor mounts. Basically anything aftermarket, we're going to go ahead and pull everything off, and we're going to Loctite it all. That way it doesn't all come off on us. So, but not bad. Pulled out pretty easy. We have to pull the timing cover off here to get the I guess I gotta take a tooth off of the crank trigger for the crank sensor. I guess for the fuel tech you have to do that. So I'm gonna do all that, pull it off, and hopefully there's nothing wrong in there, so I don't have to order more parts and whatnot. So hopefully that's good to go. But we're gonna pull all these out, Loctite them, and everything should be good to go. After that, I gotta go to Honda and pick up the Honda bond for the timing cover. Alright, we got everything all Loctited up over here. Got the fuel injectors in there nice, all mounted down. All these is Loctite. Those are all nice. I actually like the way they fit, pretty good. All the intake bolts are Loctited. Motor mounts, we've got the water pump set up, the whole thing. All those are Loctite. I pulled off the starter bolts and the engine mount bolts here. Did those. Also did the engine mount over there. We did the throttle body bolts. Anything here that can come off, we did. And I'm pretty sure that's about it. But we are going to, we're actually going to tackle getting this exhaust manifold on, so that I can put everything in one piece and hope it goes together fairly easy. Things that I changed up I don't like. I had to find a new spot to mount this. I don't kind of like where it's at now, so I'm gonna see what I can do about that. But everything else isn't too bad. Pretty easy to pull out, surprisingly. So we got this all assembled and Loctited, and now we're gonna get to pulling this timing cover off so that we can, I guess, pull the gear off for the crank signal to make sure 100% that's going to work with the fuel tech. I've seen a video on PFI Speed about the fuel tech not reading the, I guess it's an extra tooth on the crank trigger for the crank sensor for the fuel tech to recognize it or whatever, not have any tuning issues. I'm gonna have to pull that off, grind down a tooth, and then put it all back together and hopefully get this thing back in the car. Covers off. I had some RTV, a lot of it. It's crazy, but tensioner looks all right. The guides don't look too bad from what I can see anyways. Nice and tight still, but this is the guy that I need right here. So this is the crank trigger wheel. So according to what I've seen, this tooth right here needs to come out to make all of these even. This one tooth needs to come out. So we're gonna have to get to grinding that tooth off and we'll put it all back together. So I went on PFI speed and I found the video. I got to take off the second tooth there, and then I had to take off another one. I followed exactly what they said, just in case. At least I know it somewhat works. The same car running, so we got this off, and I gotta get the exhaust cam off, the cam trigger off, and I gotta take some teeth off of that as well. We're gonna get to taking that off and grind those off and hopefully get this thing back together. All right, we got the exhaust trigger wheel off. I'm gonna take this off real quick. It's hot. And we got 3 of the 4 teeth. They told me to leave this one on. So there's one here, one here, and one here. And we got to take them all off. And this is gonna have to go back on. I'm gonna clean it off. Put this back on. Put the crank one back on, and hopefully get this thing assembled. Alright, timer cover's on, valve cover is back on, that's all sealed up. I've got to put the oil drain for the turbo here, I've got to put the sensor back in here, and put the crank pulley back on, and then this will be done. The valve cover's all tightened down. Once I get that done, I should be able to put this back in there, I think. So, here we'll get to that. Let me know in the comments if you guys actually like watching time lapses of everything that's going on. You know, if not, suggestions are, you know, I'll take them. It is what it is. I'm gladly take any suggestions you guys have of what I should do, how I should do it. I'm down to try anything. But we're gonna hop to a time lapse and we're gonna attempt to put this thing back in there. Let's get to it. she's in there for the last time. Until I decide to build the engine or transmission or blow it up. I still got to hook everything up. But for the most part, engine mounts are all back in. They're all tied down. Just got to put wiring on, coil packs, all the miscellaneous stuff. And we are good to go. It did take me a while to get this thing back in here. I don't know why, but it took me a while. I don't know how. Last time I did it, it took me literally like less than 5 minutes. That took me literally almost an hour to put that thing back in there. I think I had it aligned wrong or something. But that's the update for right now. I will have another video out after this one. Hopefully before import face off. So that way everybody will know what's going on with the car and if it's going to make it or not. I don't know if it will make it. I'm hoping I can make it there with the car and drive it off the trailer, but I just don't know right now. But that's it for this video, guys. I'll see y'all later. Comment down below. Let me know if you guys think I should change anything up or do something differently. Like the video. Anything helps get my content out there so people can see it and see what I'm doing with this thing. I think it's crazy. I hope everybody else does too.